January 4th, a B-1B bomber crashed as it was attempting to land at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, a very cold place. Incident occurred during poor weather in below freezing temperatures with dense fog, maybe ice fog. According to local weather reports, radio traffic from local first responders shows an active fire and an explosion. It crashed at 5:50 p.m., so it's dark, probably. And airbase is closed. They said the crew was treated at a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The 28th Bomb Wing said in a 5JN statement, the other 3 crew members were treated and released. It's typically 2 pilots and 2 Wizzos, all with ejection seats. And that is all the information they had. So ice fog sounds very not nice. Yeah.
No, that's really bad.
Yeah. So I mean, we're glad that they did well. It sounds like it was some kind of in the landing environment kind of thing. But
it's interesting because the one picture I've seen, the airplane is, it's burned up, but it's reasonably intact. So
it wasn't like
right. It's not like crumpled into dust.
It was like the landing phase. Yeah, it looks like it happened like in the landing phase. So
right.
And what I wanted to bring up, because the first thing that came to mind was this back in 2018. You guys heard this story about the Distinguished Flying Cross for heroic response to fire ejection seat failure?
No.
Yeah, the one guy on the right there, he was in my pit class.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he tell you the story?
No, he was, he went to the B-1 after. So this happened after I met him. Good dude.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
dude, really good dude.
So
still is a good dude.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
So back in 2018, this crew was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for their bravery for something. I don't know if we're not going to call it similar, but an emergency that required an ejection. However, what happened was when they had some kind of in-flight fire or emergency that's like, we've reached the point of the checklist where we have to eject. And they reached the checklist, and I guess the seats aren't sequenced, so it's everybody pulls. And the first guy did, the seat didn't fire. And so once that happened, it didn't function, and the aircraft commander said, all right, stop, let's figure this out. And they flew it around. And they said it failed because there was one particular part that had gotten crimped. Goldfein said, the chief of staff back then. Pulled the handles, signal to ejection sequence didn't flow. So what happened next? So it may be, that may have stopped the sequence too. So it may have been sequence seats, and it may have, when it, did his, nobody else's fired, so they had to do it manually. But basically they said he remained in the arm seat for 20 minutes as they fought the plane and landed safely at Midland. If they had decided to eject, he would not have survived. And that aircraft commander made the decision with the concurrence of the crew, and they lived to tell about it. So they got a DFC, and that's kind of one of the more recent instances I know of B-1 guys, because you don't hear about them much. I mean, they've had maintenance troubles and stuff in general. A lot of them just don't fly very much, but I just thought it was an interesting side to that original article. But we're very thankful that all 4 managed to get out. And what do you guys think?
Well,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean
both stories are crazy. I'm glad everybody survived, but
right.
I didn't know there was 4 people in that plane. God.
Yeah, when I was at Pitt, actually, some of the instructors were B-1 guys when it was first coming online, and I remember them telling us stories about it. Like originally, not every crew member had a seat in that thing. They had some crashes early on where everybody but the guy without the seat got out, kind of thing. And they since, I don't think anybody, I think they've removed that crew member from the airplane nowadays. But
that's a horrible design.
Yeah. Right. The thumbnail history of that airplane, right? They developed it was going to be Mach 2, and then they shelved it for a while. Reagan brought it back. So it's had a bit of a storied history. And there's only 45 left. It said, Mover.
Yeah, there aren't many. I don't know what I ended up doing.
Cool airplane. I think it's a sick looking airplane.
It is cool.
Yeah,
I had one fly right in front of me in Afghanistan with full burner in the
On
E2.
purpose, or did they
come-
just not know?
I don't think they knew.
Perfect.
It got my attention. But the good news is the giant rotating radar dish in our plane also didn't pick them up. So it was a win-win really across the board.
Well, if you had somebody from DCS in the back simulating the guy controlling,
true. We need
maybe.
to train those guys. We need to train them.
Man, I was in the CASTAC with a B-1. I can't remember Afghanistan or Iraq, but it's such a cool looking airplane.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. Well,
But isn't already
it
scheduled to be sunsetted though in like the next 5 or 6 years?
Yes, and then they didn't.
Oh, they canceled it.
Yeah, so
I didn't hear that. Okay.
They I don't know about the canceled. They've delayed. They have
B-21
not.
B-21's supposed to replace it, right?
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah, I think that's still the plan, but like Mover said, I think they keep moving the
Pushed it back.
goalpost.
I've heard stories about funding flying hours where they thought that certain B-1s would be gone. And then when it wasn't, they had to go steal flying hours from other places because they're like, well, we didn't budget for this 2 years ago, you know. But Wags, what's more likely, a flyable B-1 or a Wombat's plane?
Probably
I think we
Wombats.
all know. Don't put Wags on. Wags is already committed to the E2. I mean, it's there. It's done.
yeah.
Breaking news.
Blink twice for B2.
Come on. You have other bombers, right? Like, it's not like you need another bomber in DCS. Like,
from Twitch, B-1 is slated to fly in the mid-2030s before it's retired. The B-2 and B-1 are supposed to eventually be fully replaced by the B-21. So we got a little bit of a ways. Gonky, you'll be retired.
Oh, yeah. Sooner than later, probably.
Yeah, at the rate we're going.